We should be live.
Okay. How do we look? Let me see.
It's going. So let's see. This platform, open topic. That's funny because I have to do this through live for the Facebook restream.
Mm-hmm.
I use my YouTube or my Facebook, and then I actually just streamed it on my timeline for my own thing with the the findings on the moon and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. So people are probably like watching is like, hey, what are you doing? What's this Candlelight Media? People really don't care about like the people who know me or and stuff like that. Let's see. I guess that's good. So
let me just double check everything. Let's copy that.
So start streaming, yes, and
oh, the public platform. God damn it. People's platform.
What? Did you?
No, I mistitled the video. I put the public platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is weird. Why is this going? Crap. Stop streaming. This happened before. Settings, stream. Huh, that's weird. Okay, start streaming now. Yes. And
okay, I think it's. Let me see.
Yeah, we're on.
We're on. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Streaming.
Okay.
There's two people watching.
Probably just you and I.
Yeah. Is it? It's not on like private. Oh, okay, 4 people.
No.
People. Chat says it's an invalid link. No, it looks right. Oh, it is invalid. I think you might have missed something.
Let me go back and look at your text message. Hold on.
Yeah, let me see.
I think I did. Yeah, hold on. Text.
I'll post it on
the
live chat while you got it. While you get it updated.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks, Yvonne.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. And I need that.
Anything you want to discuss on here, Yvonne, that you really want to explore?
No, not necessarily.
Do you want to talk more about the discoveries on the moon and the planned joint mission between Japan and India?
Unless other people want to. I think it's good and done. We kind of discussed it a little bit. It's just more of what there's no news for it. So if there's more news, that would probably be good. Chrome, Firefox, Chrome. Here we go. Now we got the chat. Oh, son of a gun. Not chat. Chat. Good. There we go. We got the chat on now.
Hey.
You're frozen, sir.
Yeah, his phone. Your phone isn't the greatest sometimes, Christian.
I know. Yeah. Well, neither is my laptop.
Oh.
That's what she said.
Indeed, man.
No, it was a good conversation. I could tell like um, that there were some things that like she didn't know who the Justice Democrats were. Like I thought you I guess you would expect certain people that are involved to know what's going on, like all the little intricate workings. But I mean, I guess really this think tank actually covers all these little small groups, and we kind of has like the pulse of like the progressive movement, I guess, because we talk about everybody in between rather than just one.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, man. I mean, she pretty much knew. I mean, in terms of the issues going on, which was what really matters. She was pretty on point.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but with the Justice Democrats, yeah, I was a bit surprised too. She didn't at least know a little bit about them. But I guess if you have such animosity towards the Democratic Party, you probably want nothing to do with them. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I don't know. I guess it just seems like it would be more beneficial to kind of know, like, what the pulse of, you can't necessarily get people into the party if you don't know what people want or what people are thinking.
Right.
So that from that angle is why I was, a little, um, there's a couple little things that that I didn't necessarily agree with, but again, for the
Yeah.
issue, I thought she was, and I thought she was genuinely interested in seeing what we could bring to the table.
Yeah. Um, I mean, just out of curiosity, guys, what are you guys registered as? Like, are you guys both Greens? Are you Independents? Are you Dem?
It's non-affiliated, so I'm pretty much independent.
I'm still registered as a Democrat. I'm going to register independent because the Green Party, there's not an actual Green Party in Tennessee, because you have to get like so many signatures in order to actually be put on the ballot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, Sir Chad, there's a news on your side. Your state is putting a, a, a person. She was trafficked as a child, uh, and she killed, I guess, the person who put her in that situation, and she's serving life, pretty much, I think.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
I've seen a lot of people post it today. I think it's one of those things that people don't realize how BS the justice system is, and how corrupt it works. Um, I think that's crazy. I mean, she should definitely not be in jail. And our governor here is they said, what's his name? I forgot his name. They said he's one of the most corrupt as far as like money,
Yeah.
like, and he's like a billionaire. Our governor's a billionaire.
For some reason that this doesn't surprise me.
Well, Nashville voted to where they decriminalized having up to an ounce of marijuana. Nashville, like the Davidson County. So like it was just to be like a $50 fine or something like that. Well, the governor went in and vetoed that, to make sure it didn't go through. But I think he took the most money from the pharmaceuticals or something crazy. I'm gonna look it up.
Which is crazy. If he's a billionaire, why does he need more freaking money?
He doesn't.
I know.
Yeah, that's why he's a billionaire.
Yeah. I think another thing too, or another system that is just so dysfunctional is, our medicines, medicinal system. Like I think you would agree with this very strongly, Yvonne, that I think in terms of medicine, I think we need to rehaul how we treat illnesses in terms of using synthetic medicine versus using a more holistic approach. I think a holistic approach using natural medicine, right? Natural cures from food and herbs and whatnot should be the first line of defense rather than, not even considered by mainstream medicine.
Yeah, I mean, there are some research to it, and I think a lot of it has to do with when we do studies, we try to find the underlying part of, say, a plant that attributes to, curing this, or lessening this, or controlling these hormones or these types of uh, bodily functions and things like that, or helping the liver out. And we just kind of go, it's like making orange juice, right? We get all the good stuff out of the orange juice, but people don't realize that, the other parts of the orange are good. The fiber is good, the
The
you know
skin.
vitamin
Hmm.
C, the skin, and there's other things besides just the vitamin C part. And just too much of it, and because you can drink a lot more than you can eat all the oranges that go into an orange juice, so your liver is also working overtime. So I think when we're kind of focusing on just the main ingredient, we overlook all the other ingredients that kind of balance it out. And I think, uh, maybe, I'm not sure if that's what you would call holistic, but basically, it's more of at least a natural approach to
Yeah.
something. And I think, it's a money making industry, $1 billion industry. So if you've got something that's going to give you side effects, hey, take something else that'll, lessen the side effects of this medicine that you're taking. Oh, and if you got side effects here, why don't you take this? So, when people take medication, they're not. I've seen like older people, they've got like pill boxes. They got like 6 pill boxes, and they have to take one from each pill box because one's going to help with this, another's going to help with like the side effects of that, another's going to help with this. And it's just like, I don't know. When I get to age 60 or whatever, if I even live that long, I don't want to be taking like 12 pills a day.
Hmm.
So
I know, and I know too from experience. This is, from watching my both of my grandfathers. They have to take, like what you were describing, like 6 to 12 pills every day,
yeah,
and they have them in little, compartments.
yeah, and yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. And a lot of the research is driven not to find a cure, but to find the easing of pain, or the easing of this, or like slowing down or getting rid of the
So
symptoms, not necessarily curing the underlying problem.
It's
right.
like Chantix, and somebody, as you want to quit smoking, you take Chantix, you have the risk of killing yourself, suicidal thoughts, depression, to stop smoking. Like you go in because I want to stop smoking, and then you end up killing yourself, and then all these other drugs mixed up. My buddy died in a car crash, and it
Yeah.
really hit his mom really hard, and so she was dealing with a lot. So they put her on some sort of depression medication. Well, she hurt her foot, and they gave her something else that messed it up. So she got off of it, screwed her up, and she ended up hanging herself.
Oh.
And it's like, it's that's why when I look at all these people, like like your even your, what's his name, Robin Williams, and the Park guy Chester, these people,
Mhm.
like, it's not just people killing themselves. It's there's shit that's in their system that they're being prescribed that's making it
Yes.
worse, along with everything else. And it's like, I mean, to stop smoking, you're gonna risk killing yourself. Like, suicidal thoughts is some. A buddy down here in a small town. He's an older guy. He's a janitor at the elementary school, and he
Mhm.
cuts my yard. Um, it's super nice. His wife just passed away this past year. Well, he was going to stop smoking, but his wife passed away, and they tried to give him the Chantix or something, similar. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this guy's going through this, and a doctor's gonna give him something that's gonna make him depressed. You know what I mean? Like, where are, like, the conversation of what these things do are completely. I mean, they're not even there. I mean, if you want,
Yeah.
what? No, none, not at all. No ethics at all when it comes to it. Just You know, a buddy of mine, you know, I was gonna have him do some work, and I didn't hear from him, and my sister ended up going to meet him because he needed help and all this kind of shit, like all knocked out and fucked up. Like people just they get caught up in some shit. They get caught up in trying to escape, and then when you're poor, you got no money, you can't get out of it. What do you do except try to escape? You're like, how am I ever going to climb out of $1,000 when you know everything is I don't think people really talk about the pressures right, you know what I mean, and what certain things mean, like how, because if you say a woman that's been abused, right, you know, you would say, okay, well, find help, and sometimes she stays in that abusive relationship. You know, people are more kind to understand that, but it's weird how when it comes to other issues that they forget the mental health and the emotional struggle that it is to get out of a situation, to not even know how to get out of a situation.
Yeah. And I think the number one factor for me for getting out of poverty was just extreme motivation, and it was just to make money. It's not the right path, but if you want to get out of it, that's the step you have to take. And the thing is, it's hard to get that level of motivation going. And I have multiple friends, you know, where they just don't believe in themselves. They have talent, they have the, you know, skills to make a difference and contribute where people would want their skills and pay good money for it, but they don't believe in themselves. And you know, I'm not sure if that's just part of depression, the part of like they feel like, oh, well, I don't have a college degree, and I'm like, I don't have a college degree. You know, they find things that reasons why they wouldn't be able to succeed, rather than seeing the reasons why they would succeed. They just don't. I don't know if it's just depression or what, or just mentality, but I think when you just start getting into that, you know, I don't care, I'm just going to focus on this. You know, when you can focus, man, anyone could do anything.
Yeah.
And I think part of it has to do with, you know, having more of a worker, you know, mindset rather than entrepreneur or a boss mindset. Like, it's like everybody tends to be waiting on someone to do something for them and set them up, you know, give them a way to do it, rather than saying, okay, well, here's my craft, here's how I can make a business working for myself, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, I think it's going to get, I don't know, I guess with the internet and the media, I feel like that's the cure for it all, is for people to work for themselves. Like, if you got a skill, you got a trade, then you have to learn how to utilize the internet, the you know, the World Wide Web, in order to be able to sell your product and do it in a way where, you know, we don't have to give money to, you know, these, predatory capitalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, we could just look at our school system. I mean, we have classes for mathematics, we have classes for history, science, and whatnot, but we don't have classes that teach us how to do our taxes. We don't have classes that teach us how to succeed in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that we just get thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, figure it out by yourself. Yeah. And for some people, especially us, especially people, Chad and, you know, our generation, it's harder for us now than it was, say, for your generation, Iban, and for James' generation, for, you know, TBC's generation.
Now, why is that? Because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube videos to look at, like how-to videos. We had to go to the library or go to the bookstore. We couldn't, you know, videos, we'd have to buy DVDs or rent it and have a DVD player. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys, at least, you just
rewind.
Oh yeah, that.
Before we took the VHS back, we get charged if we didn't rewind the VHS.
Yeah.
I remember those VHSs, man.
I mean, I could see your point, Christian, that just the economic that's viability for your generation is horrible.
Like, that's what I was alluding to. Yeah. The economic standpoint of it, that we are in a much worse place economically than say you were, or you know,
as a generation, yeah.
But you
yeah.
guys have a better opportunity, a better platform in order to pull resources, which is that's everything. The internet to me is resources, and
Hmm.
being able to connect. You know, once I mean, we see it as once you can connect certain things, there's so much power. There's so much power in that, and I think that's with the youth. That's how we have to get them. We have to do campaigns to get 15, 16, 17 year olds involved, you know,
Yeah.
in understanding what politics are, understanding how, you know, regardless of who you are, you know, the reason why you either hate somebody or you're being fucked is because of the same people, everybody, you know. um uh, I, it's weird though. I do see a little bit of a generation gap though for some people. It's hard for some people to understand the and grasp the how big the internet is, or how capable it is of doing certain things. How
Hmm.
long until they get rid of neutrality? But
Hopefully not.
And here's the thing with the status quo with the when the economy's bad, you know what these huge corporations do? They cut back, they lay off, they don't grow. So you can't get more workers to get hired to we're a spending country. You know, we need to people need to spend to spur the economy. At least that's what the economists say. And so if you're laying off people and huge companies are still and people who are the head of these huge companies are still making millions of dollars, you know, they're still in the black, but you know they want to stay in it and not lose from the previous like quarter or the previous year because especially if they're a public company because then their shares would go down. So what happens is everyone, you know how they say, you know, if you're in a bad economy you just gotta spend less, you know, or spend more but like do less. I don't know what you know with that term where it's they say to just be more tight with your money, but then that's not gonna grow the economy. And then the thing is the poor aren't doing that. If the poor are doing that plus the rich are doing that, you know, nothing's growing, everything's just stagnated. And it, if the rich really wanted to actually get the economy going again, what they need to do is stop laying off people, you know,
Hmm.
keep growing, keep hiring people. That way they have more people, have more money to spend, get the, you know, and it just keeps going and going. But it's I think it's done on purpose to get like a recession going because then they can just, you know, wait for opportunities to buy a lot of things when businesses have to and their competition have to just kind of tap out.
somebody's making money regardless. If the economy's bad, there's an industry of the economy that's booming, you know, off that. Like it's like the
Hell yeah.
foreclosure thing. For me, as a title doing title searches, you know, even though real estate or could be down, or I mean, it's not now, but you know, before, you know, you got hit with a lot of foreclosures, so you're doing a lot of title searches for, you know, these major corporations that are foreclosing on all these houses, you know. So it's like there's certain businesses that, you know, are recession proof. um, but I mean, I think it's just the business model and how we value money, how we value things. We do it as more of an accumulation of things. That's what our music tells us. Our movies, it has to do with money rather than creating something and creating quality life for everybody, and not just, oh, let me hoard all this shit. And I try to tell, like, if you look at like DJ Khaled, you got these certain people that are so corporate that there's a reason why, you know, they're on top or they're being pushed over and over, you know, this corny corporate music. And that's because they continue that narrative of to be a certain type, and they use that, you know, in order to, again, to keep that ideal of this is what success is supposed to be. You know, it's accumulating money, you know, rather than, like I said, doing something for humanity.
And I don't know. It just feels like, uh, for example, my brother-in-law. He's from my wife's side. They're not related, but he's a good woodworker. You know, he's done some good work. He started his own LLC. He doesn't know exactly how to do it. I need to talk to him over Christmas, but pretty much, I mean, he's doing good. He's got more than he can make by himself. But if he wants to keep the amount of like work going, production going, you know, to keep up, of course he's gonna have to hire, and then that's how you grow. You know, it's kind of like a grassroots level, and it's I mean, that's kind of how you do it. But then the thing is, that's not how the rich do things. The rich get seed funding or whatever you call, you know, whatever it is. They start with millions of dollars, and then, you know, they grow, and then if they fail, so what? It's not really their money, right? Whatever they made is just goes back to the money where they got the money from to start their company or their business. And so the odds of real one person startup growing, you know, and getting big enough to be a contender is just a lot. The odds are just much worse. I mean, it's kind of an unfair market system because it's all based on, you know, resources and capital. And if you got the resources and capital, you know, the odds of making it are much better, even if you're horrible at it.
Like the criminal justice system. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole thing of justice is blind. I think justice should see, right? Shouldn't justice be? You know, I guess I understand like the principle that it's not supposed to look at anything and be, you know, a non-judgment, non-bias, and that's why she's blind. But I don't know. I feel like that's just saying she can't see, you know. And I don't know, that was a side.
Yeah, I mean, we have so much stuff that need drastic overhaul. It's hard to pinpoint where we have to begin, but I think you pointed out the other day, Yvonne, that we have to fix our electoral system first and foremost. We got to get money out of politics. We got to make sure that our voices are heard and that our votes count before anything, before we discuss anything of any sort of policy other than that, like $20 minimum wage or universal health care, anything. Because if our system is still set up to where politicians can, yeah, Shirley's here, yeah,
Shirley is here with the video. Hey, Shirley. Oh, now we just can't hear you. Let's see.
Shirley.
How do we get your audio? We can't hear you though.
Let's see if we could.
Can't do a. Shirley, can you try getting your mic to work? I could barely hear you.
Yeah.
It's really quiet. Now I can't hear anything. Do you use your phone, Shirley? Nod if it's a yes or shake if it's a no.
Maybe she doesn't know she's on.
Maybe. Well, you are on, Shirley.
You are live. The world's watching.
We are live.
In 5, 4.
Hey, Gordon, how's it going?
Hey, Gordon.
We'll wait for Shirley, see if she can get her audio up. I see you on the troll sphere. I guess there's a lot of back and forth between Jamarl and Hard Bastard and Jordan Sheridan and the Jordan Sheridan supporters.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what I see in some some Twitter stuff.
I think it's awesome. I think I don't know why I get amused, but I feel like the more shit happens, the deeper the conversation goes. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to weed out some of the, the crony, the crony progressives.
Right.
That's that's the positive part about the the same side, whatever you call it. But and I know that's a sexual harassment. Did you see the whole thing, Yvonne? Evan? The Tim Black interview with the girl?
No, I didn't see it yet. I mean, I haven't watched any real news or even independent news in so long. I think the most recent one I saw was HA like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And that was the first in a long time.
HA's, I'm every time I get on there, I'm like, ugh. I'm like, I want him to go back to a little bit more reporting rather than he's kind of fanning his. This is what I do. This is what I said. Tim Black.
Yeah.
He's in love with Tim Black. He really did.
Oh.
I think we hear you now, Shirley. Can you hear us?
Can you talk loud?
It might be that her volume is she maybe can't hear us.
Shirley has some important news.
Yeah, a long-time congressman here in Pennsylvania, and he also represents Philly, Bob Brady.
Oh yeah.
He's a big Hillary. He's a super delegate for Hillary and a big Hillary supporter. There's been an FBI investigation going on with this big-time union. I forgot the name of the union, but the guy name is Johnny Depp. And our newly elected mayor, Johnny Depp and him grew up in South Philly together, so they're really good friends.
Right.
So this FBI investigation was going on behind Johnny Depp. So they raided the mayor's office one day to get his records. All this are doing with the elections. And today they raided Bob Brady's home to get his email. He pays off, because I was always wondering why. I said, he always run unopposed. I can't believe nobody's running against him in the Democratic primary. Well, found out he's paying off people who don't run against him. He paid off people.
Oh, doesn't surprise me, man. But yeah, that's terrible.
All this corruption. What state do you think is the most corrupt? Do we have a rating?
I just saw something where in 2013 it said that Tennessee was a Harvard study said Tennessee was one of the most corrupt states.
I wouldn't have thought it, but yeah, I could see it now that
because of the way I guess they do, because they spend a lot of money on road construction, and not very good food. I mean, we're super, overweight out here, and it's the money. I mean, it's growing. Tennessee, Nashville's growing, but I don't know. That's what it said. It was talking about.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I mean, not funny like it's horrible funny. It's coincidental funny is what I meant.
And then Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania, investigating the DNC from them holding the convention here. They investigating them about giving out them $1 million bonuses because they owe the state $1 million for holding the convention here, and they haven't paid us.
Wow. Oh man!
And still no investigation about all those machines that wouldn't work during the fucking primary. We would go to press Bernie and it would come up Hillary.
No, they was just Obama just let Homeland Security take over that to handle those machines.
I know.
And that's kind of effed up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like you really don't even know if you want to vote, because is your vote going to count?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, and I think that's where you have to apply the public pressure and back them into a corner where they can't really cheat. I mean, that's obviously a loaded thing to do, but uh, I don't know. That's what I'm worried. That's why I think the focus should be breaking the two-party system, and I think a lot of people are ready for that, and I think that alone could get a lot of rallying behind it. Like, get rid of break the two-party, vote independent, and then you if you want to vote for a green, or if you want to. I mean, I like green as far as you can be a member, but I don't know. There's different strategies.
I think just like Darlene said, the green just needs to grow a little bit more. And
talking about Nico and
yeah, I think like Darlene said, the Green Party itself just needs to grow. It needs to kind of learn how to adapt fast enough to changes, because if at the rate that they're expecting to grow, I think they like she was saying, 2016 just brought in a lot more revenue. Same thing with 2017 than previous years because of the 2016 campaign with Bernie Sanders. And if they're not expecting a growth of like 40% and not knowing what to do with something like that, I think they've got some problems that they need, growth issues they need to deal with. And so that's an issue with them. But the thing is, every third party is going to go through that. Oh my goodness, Garden, you're going to give us seizures. Is that your goal?
Donate to TYT. My goal is to hypnotize you.
Wait, who's your new master now? Is it Jenks or is it Jordan Sheridan?
I don't know, man. It's so confusing. Sorry, I'm working a little bit, guys. Sorry.
No problem. All right, Shirley, you haven't been on in a long while. What's been like on your mind most of the time?
It's just crazy. I'm just sick of hearing about Trump every day. And what's crazy, you have to defend them. You don't want to, but you have to, because you see the craziness.
Yeah.
Like Chris Cuomo interviewed LeVar, what's their last name?
Odom? No.
The ones that was over in China was stealing. And they were just joking about it. Just joking. I mean, the man is the president of the United States, point blank. He was elected. He didn't steal it. You got to respect the office.
Yeah. The one thing that I feel like that I don't like, I mean, I don't like the propaganda media, but I also don't like the alt-right media. I feel like the alt-right media, because they say the propaganda media lies, that they can lie too and distort the truth in order to make it seem like, hey, because we're not propaganda media, the mainstream media, we can tell whatever lies and it'll be the truth because our names are the name of our YouTube video name is truth something, whatever, right? And I think that's bad. Now it's like, now we need a third media, fourth media, whatever, just to like say, hey, both these idiotic media areas are just dumb. And you're fighting like a two-front war pretty much, because you're going to fight the mainstream media that's saying, okay, you're part of the alt-right media, and like then you go, no, we're not the alt-right media, and the alt-right media is saying, oh, you're just another, social justice warrior, mainstream media, type of person. Is like, no, we're not. But we're not flat earthers. We're not, every president that's not a Republican is the devil, type or Antichrist, whatever. We're just, it's just, it's tough. I think it's just everything has a political tinge to it. It's like we don't want the politicalness. We just want the truth. Is all it is. And you've got just, I don't know. I could keep going on.
It's crazy because, like I'm saying, everybody talking about, oh, Trump with all his sexual assault thing. Well, now Bill Clinton, some more women are coming out filing suits against him right now. I mean, my grandmother always told me, watch how you point your finger at somebody because your thumb may be pointing back at you. And that's just what's exactly happening with the DNC.
Yeah. I mean, they're both guilty. They're
both of them.
Yeah. I mean, they're all in line with each other. I mean, Dennis Hastert was buddies with the Democrats, Clintons and whatnot, Harvey Weinstein, and he's the known pedophile. Yeah, right. So it's like they're in both parties.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, they want people divided, and they, as long as it's like that's why nothing gets done, because both sides are doing the same corrupt thing, and it's just they make it where you have to pick a side even though they're both doing the same thing. Like, which face of corruption do you like better? Do you like the conservative face, or do you like the pretending I care about people face?
Hey, did you guys hear about Ray Allen, the former NBA player?
What?
Yeah, he got a sexual thing going on.
Oh man, I liked him too.
This guy said him and them two had sexual relations.
Wait, another guy?
Oh,
yes.
Catfished by a man. That's what he said.
TMZ broke that story.
Yeah. TMZ wrote, Ray Allen, the accuser, says that they had a gay relationship, but Ray Allen said that he was catfished by a man who claims that Ray Allen was a stalker. It's so weird. I've had a catfish. A catfish. That's some. It's so funny. Like, if you look at catfish, you can almost damn near that same type of mentality for the media, in the way that they gaslight you. It's like when somebody lies to you, they're going to go as outrageous as possible so you don't question it. The more outrageous, the more like intense, then it makes it harder for them. It makes it easier for them to lie, because most people won't challenge somebody when they say something bad's happened or something extreme's happened. Does that make sense? Like,
so can someone explain to me what catfished means?
With somebody that's not who they say they are online. Like, you meet somebody on profile and you have this picture and you're talking to them and you think you're talking to this one person, but somebody else. So that's they're fooling you in who it is. Like, that's why the whole internet, the whole catfish.
So whenever it's like whenever a guy uses a picture of Ryan Gosling as their internet dating profile picture, or a woman puts like a picture like that.
Or you mean like when I put a picture of myself when I'm 18, when I'm like 36, does that count?
Yeah, that could count.
Okay. Hey Lucas, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah. That's kind of a catfish. You're like a fish, not full grown cat. No, but I've talked to this girl that I met on Facebook. I know people that have chased girls around the country, like, because one time a girl got kidnapped, and I mean, you're talking about some of the craziest stories that these people make up, like, and it's all extreme shit, because it makes it harder, because they do the I can't believe you would actually question me, and then they make you upset. It's like a gaslighting you, make you out to be the bad guy for feeling like something ain't right, something's odd. And then, of course, once I called this one girl a catfish or whatnot, then she never she never messaged me back after that.
How dare you question our intentions? We wanted to go into Iraq to protect everybody. We thought they actually had weapons of mass destruction. How dare you think that it was us that was responsible for that?
Did you see those
How
people?
dare
That's
you think you're not
gaslighting.
altruistic?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob. I mean, Garden, you were saying something. My bad, man. I interrupted you.
I'm kind of half painted. Are you describing gaslighting? There's a difference between catfishing and gaslighting.
Well, I mean, no, me, I was
Whoever.
the catfishing, but then they gaslight you while catfishing.
Yeah.
It's all kind of they tactics to make you feel like you're going crazy, like you shouldn't be questioning who this person is. Basically,
Yeah.
you're like wait a second, it doesn't make sense. But then they say something outrageous, or they have some sort of thing set up where you meet somebody else with this other fake account. I talked to this person, and it's like people go like to real extremes to make other people believe. I mean, people like beautiful women are getting catfished, like, and they're like all upset and like they've never met this person, but they're ready to go meet them to get married, and they have that show on MTV, which is pretty weird.
Well, and tons of teenage boys get catfished because like there'll be some 40-year-old or 60-year-old pervert who'll create a Facebook page of a 16-year-old girl, and it'll be like his niece or something, so he'll have tons of pictures that he can send and all that kind of stuff because he's a creepo pedophile, and then they'll lure in all these kids and they'll be like, yeah, just come over and hang out at this this address, and then all of a sudden the kid goes over there and gets molested. Like that kind of stuff happened all the time. Like I remember we constantly were getting told in middle school, never add anyone on Facebook unless you've met them personally, because like in our area, whenever Facebook first was getting big, there was a huge problem with pedophiles on Facebook, like catfishing kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man. And how old are you again, Lucas? You're 20?
18.
18. Okay.
I did the opposite. Well, I was on MySpace before, so I understood the social platform a little bit better. But when I got on Facebook, I just started adding a bunch of girls. And then once you had enough girls that knew each other, because there's a big network of models and shit like that, then they look at it, oh, he's friends with all these other girls that I know, so then all of a sudden you've got all these girls you don't really know, but just you can't do it the same anymore.
That feels like a George Costanza move right there.
It works.
George Costanza.
And the idea too is to, I was talking about earlier, I used to take pictures when I would go out, because I lived in Miami for a little bit. First of all, girls love pictures, so as long as you have a camera and you're taking pictures, it's amazing. Then you just take a couple pictures with some pretty girls, and automatically that makes you feel, oh, it's all right, he talks to pretty girls or whatnot, and then makes
I've done that before. That's an old trick, dude. It's an
oldie but goodie, it's an oldie but goodie. And that's when you actually had to work for it.
So Christian, tell us how it is in your day and age. What are your tricks of the trade?
Oh, for what? Macking girls like Chad does?
Yeah.
Actually, kind of what he does.
It's an old classic, dude. Like, girls feel so much more comfortable when they see you with other women. Yeah. And if they see you with a beautiful woman, then I don't know, both men and women have their own triggers, but that kind of triggers something in women,
Yeah, and the confidence level that you are with these other women.
Yeah. It kind of pre-qualifies you, I think is the word, to them. When they see you with all these beautiful women, whether it's conscious or subconscious, they think, oh, this guy must be okay. If these women are with him, if these women are hanging out with him and talking with him,
it's
gay.
It's interesting that we're talking about this, because in sociology yesterday, we were actually talking about the difference between like men and women and like how they act towards each other in like couples and in like that kind of way, and how women are meaner to women than men are in most cases, and like, you know, all the most awful things that have been said about women were said by other women. And it was funny because like all the women and the girls in the classroom were all like saying it's a giant competition, and so if they see, you know, a guy with a girl that they, you know, and they think that like they're prettier or whatever, then they'll like try to like show up the girl that the guy is with, you know, and like it kind of is like turns it into a game for them.
Yeah.
Raises the value of the man. I don't know if you guys read The Game by Neil Strauss. It was like 8 years ago now. It was all right then. You know, it was interesting, but it got corny and kind of went overboard. You know, they did that show on VH1 too about the pickup artist.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what they talked about. That was one of the things. It's like they called a girl pivot. So when you go out with some girls, they're awesome because again, it makes girls feel more comfortable. And then you have to spend so many hours, so much time talking to them, building some sort of rapport in order for them to be comfortable. You know, there's like it's kind of can fuck with your head a little bit if you start like breaking down people in that kind of perspective rather than, you know, being natural. Like I read the 48 Laws of Power, which is not, that totally fucked me up. And then of course the 48 Law, the Art of Seduction, which the Art of Seduction, it goes in and says, okay, it gives you like a list of different types of people. It says you read through them and you're going to say, okay, I got a little traits in this one, but you're going to find one that you feel most comfortable with. So you find, okay, this is the type of person, whether you're like the charmer or if you're the, you know, whatever, they have these different lists. So then you take that and then you read all the laws, and then it tells you how to use your personality type in order to, you know, pretty much seduce. And then it says, okay, well, if you're this type, this is not going to be, this is reversal. This is like the negative parts of using this type of thing. But it breaks down and uses literature and it uses history in order to explain these laws and these rules and how people have used certain things in the past. Like it some of these stories are absolutely ridiculous. Like the one guy, and I don't even, like, Asian guy, and he was they thought he was a girl. So this whole time this guy was chasing this girl until they went to prison, and he still didn't believe it when they ended up being cellmates because it's crazy. But it talks about you know, like creating these atmospheres. For instance, it's like if a person's a drama queen, if a woman's a drama queen, and you want to date a drama queen, then the way to handle her is you have to learn how to create the drama yourself and be in control of it to keep her at bay with the drama, rather than letting her just find something to be drama. You know, because some girls, some people, men too, some people, you know, they like a lot of that. So if you know how to balance and create that enough to keep them at bay, then that helps you seduce them.
And so what happens if a girl is an emotional sadist and gets off on making people's feelings hurt and driving them insane?
Right. Or even masochist and, you know, creating problems for herself or himself, you could say.
See, this would be good to have Shirley and maybe Stevie on. Is now when we're talking about what we're talking about, it's to get laid for a guy. I don't think it's to get like a, you know, find a woman to settle down with type of thing.
Oh well, let's get my question then.
Well, no, but that's a lot of reason why people go through those things, because they're not very good with women. They don't understand how to interact and then maybe have like social anxiety when talking to a girl. They may be cool as hell and they all this stuff, but you know, sometimes just talking to a girl is their problem. So I mean, I see the benefit because it can and help people. I mean, I've seen it change people completely. Like after they read The Game and they started looking at it more as a game, more as okay, this is how, because you start to understand how people work, and the more you understand how people work, the more you understand how you work, and then the more you're like, well, I don't want to waste my time on something that's not really for me. You know, you start to kind of. But that's
the thing though. Like if you got to start playing these games where you have to control the rhythm of the relationship in order to prevent fucking crazy drama from happening, you probably should forget about it and move on.
Yeah.
Like don't be the buyer in the buyer's market. Be the shopper.
Yeah.
Like, look for someone who you like.
Like for me, it being in the losers market for this game, like I knew the strategy, I knew the pickup, the whole shebang. All right, I just didn't want to do it because it'd be like, all right, so I gotta act like a dick, dress like a dick, and then that's how you get the girls, and then that's kind of just basically don't be yourself if you're not a dick, and
you see, man, and that's the quickest road to unhappiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you completely said that completely perfectly, Ivan. Like, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, but you know what's the surefire way to happiness? I got the perfect thing for you, Ivan.
What was that?
Just take $100,000 of your money and donate it to Wolfpack.
Jank will get you laid.
Hey, yeah, I've already done that. That's why I'm so happy.
Hang out with Jordan. Jordan,
yeah, Jordan.
I thought Christian, whenever you said I know what'll make you happy, I thought you were just gonna say like a fleshlight or something, and I was like, oh, that solves that.
A flashlight.
What I learned from all of it is that it's a numbers game. Different girls, like different approaches. Period. They like different types of guys. So you most likely you're not going to always, be a certain guy's or a certain girl's type or a certain guy, whatever. People like what they like, and they want the same thing really, but it's all about approach. Everybody wants to be approached in a different way, and their value system, their value system is different. They say, okay, well, I value this more than this, and that it helped me understand what it was that I wanted in a woman. It's not like I followed that shit like religiously, but it was interesting, especially at the time too, to see, a lot of other 25, 26-year-old, going through, reading this stuff and it does uncover, because there's a lot of people, paved the way for certain things, and you don't have to go through a lot of bullshit, when somebody else already has, if you're paying attention,
Well, I just want to interject into here. The difference between flirting and sexual harassment is whether or not the guy's attractive. So,
or how much money he has.
Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, guys, I think, at least in my experience, the greatest thing you could do, the most beneficial thing you could do to advance a platonic or romantic relationship, especially in this day and age, is to have honesty, man. Just be honest. If you could be real, if you could be present in the moment, if you're not putting on a sort of mask or trying to be somebody else or something else, I think that really registers, that genuineness really is appreciated, especially like in the political sphere, for example, right? We value those who seem, at the very least, to be non-polished, so to speak, that are off the cuff, that are just speaking from the heart, right? Like Bernie tends to do when he's not, kissing the DNC's ass or, promoting the Russian propaganda, the Russian, hacking propaganda, whatnot. But you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That honesty is the best policy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the way you're going to end up the happiest.
And it gets people like us, I guess, or at least me, depressed, because if the only way for it to work is to play the game, then it just kind of tells you like the world is just a facade, right? And it's no one could be themselves really, and or at least not initially. So everyone that you meet, you've got this fake wall built up. You're a masquerade, and then two people you click and you realize you let the masquerade off, and it's like, well, now we don't know who we are anymore, because right, it's like, okay, you're the real you, I'm the real me, whatever. It's like it doesn't click anymore, and so you're just going off and trying to do the same thing, and it's repeat and rinse.
Yeah, well, it's kind of goes along with like the we are who others perceive us to be. You know, like if you project, you know, this fake personality that isn't really you, that doesn't really have you behind it, then you know that means that you are a faker, and like that's your new, you know, personality, and that's how people will see you, even if they don't realize it like consciously. Like people can tell if they're talking to somebody who's being real, you know, and like if they're talking to somebody who's like comfortable in their own skin, or if they're talking to somebody who's playing a character, like, you know, because there's a lot of people out there who are playing permanent characters, and like that's like who they are, is that character, but you know that that's not actually, like if you were to get them alone and get them to trust you and like open up, like that's not who they are.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and movies are there's a very thin line between being romantic and douchebag. You know, there really is.
Sometimes no line at all, in my experience with like just observing how, you know, guys interact, like the guys who do really well with girls interact with them. A lot of times there's no line at all between that stuff. You know, it just depends on, like I said, if you're attractive or not, you know.
Well, but see, that's the whole thing. Again, it goes down to approach and how the girl, you can say that how she's fucked up in her own way. But, you know, some of these things, these girls, there's so many different types of girls that respond to so many different things. So it's like at one point, yeah, there's this ideal thing we have set up, you know, how we look at women and blah, blah, blah. But there are certain girls that are you know, are totally different in the way approach and how you talk to them. You know, so that's where, I don't know how it took a minute for me to even understand how many different styles, or I mean, obviously there's women are going to be individually different, but you can kind of categorize them, put them into different groups, you know, obviously not to pigeonhole somebody, but to understand, like, this is the way this type of girl ticks, this type of girl, you know, and then you could.
Well, part of it is also learning like when to let go. Okay, like, because I think a lot of people have been there where you see someone you really want, right? But then you start getting kind of involved with them, or like, I'm not even talking about sexually, but you get to know them a little bit better, and you still really want them, but you realize that it's just not going to work, and like it's probably going to bring your life down overall.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so Stevie and Shirley, save us from this sausage fest.
So let me tell you how I get women. All right?
Well, hey, Stevie, before you start, like, I didn't get. Are you going to be able to do that on the first?
Oh,
I sent you that tweet, but I didn't get a reply yet.
Oh, I'm terrible at checking my messages. The first, yeah, I can do that.
It'd be at the first at 8:30 p.m.
Yep, that works for me.
And Jamal and Holly have already confirmed. So.
Yeah, nice. I like when you use your Dave Chappelle white person voice.
You like it? My voice drops down.
I can't help it, man. Like sometimes it's like, you know, I get shit for my accent, and a lot of people are like, "What are you saying? I can't understand you." So
Really?
when I try to be all professional, like I do get my Dave Chappelle white person voice away.
Really? Because I understand you perfectly fine. I mean, you're not like somebody from like the sticks in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't have the Boomhauer accent.
I need
a lot of people around here need subtitles whenever they talk. So.
I should practice my Boston accent. You know, get in the car and then, you know.
That'd be a crazy character, dude. Between like, that would be a crazy character.
You could do a New York accent. Oh, if these niches could talk, man, I tell you, fucking cabs just drive me fucking insane, you know? Just Jesus Christ.
Mix in a little Australian and British in there too, and just kind of.
Oh, have any of you ever listened to like learn like the difference between New Zealand and Australia?
Oh yeah, it's the
like,
vowel sounds. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Australia, they don't have R's. Like all their R's are silent, And then in New Zealand, all their R's are rolled. It's like the weirdest thing.
No. In the deep south, in the South Island, in the deep south, where like what's his name? The guy, the Kiwi guy that's on here sometimes from the internet party, Brad, right?
I can't remember his name.
Blake. He's from the deep south, and that's where they roll their R's a little bit, you know. But the main difference between them is, well, like one of the things is Aussies tend to chew on their vowel sounds a lot, and it's a lot like really twangy. And you can really tell with the phrase fish and chips, because Aussies will say it like that, fish and chips, whereas New Zealanders will say it like fish and chips. So you hear the difference already?
Yeah.
One is fish and chips, and one is like fish and chips. So if you see like Thor Ragnarok, there's a character that speaks with a very
the Rock guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he says, you know, scissors. You know, I said scissors.
Well, that's like in Germany. They use the V's are W, and the W is the V, like Volkswagen.
Ah, yeah, that sounds right.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Stevie. Wanted to interject.
Yeah, Stevie. Okay, tell us how you get women, because you know, I think a lot of us here really need to know.
Well, I don't. Not in a while, at least. Yeah, there's only like 3 gay women here in West Virginia, so you know, my options are limited. But as far as straight women go, it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just like, I don't think I'm that weird. Okay, so like most of the women that I've talked to, you know, charisma goes a long way. You don't have to have the money. You don't have to have, you know, good looks. Like as far as like for my like personal like dating experience, it's like I want somebody I can have a good conversation with. So if I can't, that goes a long way. That's like the sexiest thing. Like if you can have a good conversation, if you're smart, you know, or if you know you're curious or whatever. So like, and a good sense of humor. So you know, which goes to the conversation. But you know, I've dated people that have had money. I've dated people that didn't have money. I've dated, you know, short, tall, fat, thin. I mean, but what it comes down to, just from what I've noticed, is just it's all about the conversation and the mental part of it. Because like the physical part and all the other stuff is so like it can just change so quickly. So you know, it's better to have it based on something that you know you're actually that brings you happiness.
Right, like you were saying last night, Steve. Like it's superficial. It's aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, the physical stuff only lasts for like 2 minutes.
Speak for yourself.
One in a Bond's case.
Yeah, speak for yourself for sure.
Wait, does it take like 1 minute for you guys?
I'm sorry.
Myself, it's not even funny. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Uh-oh.
I missed
Don't
that.
worry, man. There's pills. There's pills and meditation techniques.
Well, or you can always just be like Kevin Hart and make that 2 minutes feel like an hour, and just like, you know, keep changing the position every 10 seconds. You know, that's all you gotta do. Like it's like start out on your back. All right, now you're on your stomach. All right, now you're on your side. Now you're on your stomach again. Now you're on your back. Now you're on your side. Now you're on your stomach again. Oh, now you're upside down. Oh, now you're on the wall. It's like you just gotta keep changing it around, and then it makes it feel like it's an hour.
Think about dead kittens. That's the advice I was given. Not really. I think that's like some people told that joke at some point. I just remember it.
Yeah. No, I think with Garden, his number one technique is just thinking about Cenk.
Thinking about the TYT logo itself, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone beyond the pale.
Oh my god.
So tell us all these details about the orgy parties there, Garden.
Well, I never got into one. Like, I only worked 90 hours a week for free. So, like, Jordan said you got to work at least 130 hours a week for free before you can get into one, and you got to pay for some drinks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
We should make some meme shirts of like the Jordan Sheridan okay, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, I want to do two things. I have a contest, so I guess I'll just. I mean, I'm not all right. So for who can make the best meme for like the Star Wars, how it regards to politics, in any way, and also another one for, I guess, make the most non-PC type of like meme or that you could put on a T-shirt for just like the Jordan Sheridan and or like Harvey Weinstein or all these like basically the sexual predators in our high society type of thing. And then I'll figure out the prizes, but I don't know. I want to make it official. So like I was thinking for the Star Wars one, free ticket like tickets for like 2 or 4, like a gift card or something like that, and like I don't know. So just something like that, just something fun. And
well, I have one already that comes to mind. A picture of Bill Cosby, right? Up top it says pills ? And on the bottom it says, "You mean pickup lines?"
Here's one for Jordan. Imagine like, okay, it's kind of a cartoonish version of Jordan, like with a bottle hanging out of one hand. He's got the drunk bubbles above his head, right? And like he's propped up like on a blow-up doll, kind of leaning on it. And then under that is Truth Against the Machine, except it's misspelled, like severely misspelled.
It's like smart again, match, something like that.
Let's say Truth Against My Machine.
Have any of you guys seen Jimmy Dore's latest live, or not his latest, but the most recently posted live show?
No.
I missed the one that was on. What was that? Saturday or Sunday? No, it was Saturday because I stepped out, so I didn't catch it.
Well, whenever they were at Burbank, it may have been Oregon. I think it was the Oregon live show. Yeah, that's where they were at. But whenever they were on stage, like they were talking, they was basically the vindication show, and it was basically like to celebrate the fact that they've been right about the whole like DNC cheating thing, because that was right after the Donna Brazile thing came out, and so like the entire show was just about that. And like they went back through and they showed all the videos of Debbie Wasserman Schultz saying that it's fair and neutral and all that kind of stuff, and like all these different videos of them saying that people who thought that the Hillary Clinton campaign was in control were crazy and they were conspiracy theorists and all that. And so basically he just went through to like prove them all wrong, and he did a big long segment on the Seth Rich thing and how she said that she feared for her life and closed the blinds because she thought snipers were going to get her, and like how she wouldn't be saying that for no reason. But then whenever he was reading about when she was talking about there was no enthusiasm for the campaign, he was talking about how basically she was hinting that there was no sex going on in the Hillary Clinton campaign at all. And so he was like, I wonder how much sex was going on over in the Bernie Sanders campaign. And immediately Graham Elwood leaned back in his chair, stuck his legs up really wide, and was like, "Oh, single payer." And then and Steph was Zamorano, she just died, like on stage, like right then and there, like she just died. And then she's like, "You know what? I'm rethinking this. I think that we can market it to everybody if we were to do it that way."
Oh my god.
All right.
I missed that one.
All right. I need to take a break, guys. I've been on this for like 4 hours. I'll be listening in. So.
Okay, Yvonne.
I've got to call it early tonight to you guys. I'm probably not going to be on for the rest of the week either. So have a good Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too,
You too,
guys. I'm gonna
Garden.
be baking a rum cake.
Oh yeah, that's right. It'll probably be. Yeah, we'll try to work through the holidays. I mean, all right. Bye.
Yeah, gotta have refuge from your from crazy relatives, right?
Stevie, I saw that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm there for the food, man. Like, that's what I'm there for.
Yeah, well, that's what I. After going to a family party a few weeks ago, it's like I can't bear to be around my family anymore. It's so hard being around like a racist family that's like hyper partisan on both sides. Like you have people who are like so Democrat they can't talk about politics without getting angry, and then you have people that are so Republican they can't talk about politics without getting angry. And it's like they're both so freaking wrong, and like neither of them will look at the other person's side, which is also, I mean, not that either of their sides is right, but like they can't even look at it from like the outsider's perspective. Like they think that it drives me crazy to be around them, and like because they're all living in their own little world of cable news that they watch.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds like a balancing act right there.
Mm-hmm.
I met Kevin Hart. You said something about Kevin Hart, so I pulled it up. He said,
Oh wow! Look at that.
My buddy knows these people, so we went to a show in Atlanta, and then we went. Then we met them at Magic City. If you know anything about Atlanta and strip clubs, Magic City is like the spot in Atlanta, and so fucking funny. So we went, and Kevin had this corner up in the room, whatnot. So we went up there and hanging out. So he just started they had the stacks of thousands, and like fresh $1 bills. He just started. Kept handing me like stacks of 100. He told the waitress chick, like, can I get the old money? This stuff is too fresh. Like it doesn't move the same way. But it was so funny. He kept buying me dances, and it's funny. I can't go to a strip club without somebody buying me a dance. So funny. I'm not a big fan of Nickelback at all.
Uh-huh.
And so we're at this place. What is it called? I think it starts with an F. Whatever. It was another strip club in Atlanta, and I'm sitting at the bar rolling up, which is pretty awesome. And all of a sudden, a Nickelback song comes on in the strip club. Then my buddy sends over a girl to give me a dance to Nickelback. I don't know. I thought that was funny. It was just so funny. I was rolling up and I looked over. There he was. Don't get dances to Nickelback. That's my public.
Isn't that the whole point of some of his songs?
I have no clue what the point is.
Yeah, some of his songs are sexual. Yeah.
Ugh, so bad.
Like I feel like Animals. That's probably like what that song was intended for. That was the purpose.
Hell yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, if you ever try like playing the kick drum part for that, your leg will get so freaking tired. Like it's insane.
Oh my god, man! I'd like try to play a Dragon Force song on the guitar. That speed is insane. Ay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going until I guess 15 more minutes, guys, and then I gotta call it a night. I gotta get up. We're really gonna leave tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta head out. So I'll talk to y'all later.
Thanks, Stevie. Thanks for coming on.
Night, Stevie.
See you later.
What, Christian? I did make a lot of notes from tonight too about what you said, and I think just in general, I was just thinking we ought to go in and mark out the point where she had the conversation. Individual things, so we can have like little segments about this is and then you do the question, and then that kind of thing, or answer to it, and just again little segments. But I mapped out a bunch of stuff, so
Oh,
So, you been watching Empire, Shirley?
huh?
You've been watching Empire and Star?
Oh, yes, I have.
And
Yes, I have.
And what do you think about the Lions?
Lucius is back.
Lucius is back. So how do you feel about the whole? I don't know, the whole scene with the courtroom thing. I thought they could have a little bit better ammunition. You know, they could have called out what that girl doing before. You know what I mean? Took the baby and they ran off with her. The money. There was some stuff that they didn't talk about in the courtroom that would have, you know what I mean, made their case a little better.
Yeah, they could have. But I see some parts that are kind of corny. It's not believable. That's in any show.
Yeah. I agree.
Hey guys, you know what? Another Hillary Clinton big time donor supposedly committed suicide last week.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And he helped build her super PAC. It was called? It was Hillary. She had so many goddamn super PACs. Something for Hillary. The family said he had a mental issue and he committed suicide. Well, I hope this former FBI agent that's supposed to testify about that uranium deal, I hope he don't commit suicide.
He shot themselves in the back of the head twice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, or had the weights fall down on top of him when he was working out.
Right. A heart attack.
Hey guys, did you guys see HI did a video breaking TYT Intercept sued by Jordan Sheridan?
Yeah, I watched it.
And well, what's going on now with that? Like, is he really suing?
I was looking for the article because he said, actually he was talking about the former piece Jordan wrote in it, but then he said that he's going to sue him, but I don't see no article out there saying that he's suing him.
Right.
Well, HA is kind of known for doing speculative clickbait too.
Yeah.
So bad. Like, I was really rooting for him. You know, I actually think Tim seems to be catching another stride after he kind of stopped, you know, doing that sellouts. I think him doing the interview thing has been working out really nice. You know, even Jamal, his interviews are so good. I enjoy listening to him like chat it up with people. He's still not as aggressive as I'd like, but I get nobody's going to go back on your show if you're that aggressive.
Hello everyone, this is Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox.
You got Jamal down.
That's good.
I thought he called in.
You gotta say God. You gotta say it in garden. You gotta say garden. I'm with you.
Garden.
You're right, garden. Yeah.
Garden. Go ahead, garden.
Just from the perspective, yeah, you're right, garden. You're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he always has a pencil, you know.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Oh, I was gonna say too, the guy that's ahead of the committee, the meeting committee on the Green Party, is friends with Jamal. I was looking at it, his Facebook, and he's actually. So I mean, I don't know, because I'm friends with Jamal. I mean, we don't talk, but anyway, so I think I don't know. There's an angle there we can definitely play. I don't know. They got to get rid of that. I mean, the guy's saying some decent stuff. It's just like, where's your memes? Like, if you're ahead of the media and that whole thing, like, all you have to do is do some sort of campaign where you give all these college students or people that do graphics or do videos, do a campaign where the best one, you know, gets to be the logo for the thing, or, you know, like little stuff like that would get people involved. You have to do a meme war. I mean, really, that's the only way to do it. A meme war. If we're not simplifying all this information on memes and GIFs and stuff like that, then we're not really making a difference. That's what's really going to get people going, because it's going to get the youth in, and it's going to. It's so funny. It's like it's its own language. You know, one gift thing, one little thing says so much more than somebody talking for 10 minutes in a post. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I just saw a GIF like 2 seconds ago that was a buffering picture of a cat, and it said, "This is the internet if the FCC kills net neutrality."
Yes, there you go. I saw that too.
So simple, little stuff like that, and then that's going to get the young kids in, and we make it like, if we can take down some corrupt people, you know, I don't know, make it a game. Really, let's make it fun to watch the mighty fall. You know, like I would love that. I don't know.
I feel what you're saying, man, and it just goes to what one of our main complaints about the Green Party is that they lack aggressiveness, they lack assertiveness,
Right.
and they have to be bolder. They have to, like what you were saying, for example, like with the meme stuff, they have to get the message out there more, right?
Well, I just want to, on the bright side, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say that on the bright side, Reddit seems to be completely going crazy about net neutrality today and tonight. Like all the top posts are all about net neutrality, even the jokes. Like the top joke was calm down about the net neutrality thing. Paying additional money to access certain sites will give you a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Wow, well, that's great news, man. Wow, thank you for that update, Lucas. That's
and Reddit, I was gonna say Reddit is like supposed to really hit on the real pulse of what's going on in a lot of ways. Like it's funny where like there's certain places you can really get your information to understand like what's going on in certain culture. You know, and it seems like Reddit, you know, has a lot of that, because there's a lot of real deal. You know, to be on Reddit, you know, you gotta be. I don't know. And just from my view of how I've seen it work.
Oh yeah, I think it's a lot harder to have trolls and stuff on Reddit, because people are constantly on the lookout for bots, and they have bots that are meant to find bots, and bots that are meant to find trolls, and you know, people who post like offensive and hateful stuff. And a lot of the bots that they have on there, like to monitor and do administrative work, do a really good job. Like whenever I was on that FCC net neutrality joke, there was the top comment on there was a bot that was was telling everyone to text, you know, certain numbers and call the representatives to tell them that they shouldn't support net neutrality.
That they shouldn't support, or that they should support?
Or that they shouldn't support repealing it. Like they should support the idea of net neutrality, and like they shouldn't support Ajit Pai and the FCC's efforts to dismantle it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Portugal has that problem where they have to pay for access to certain websites, and it's terrible, man. I mean, you can imagine that kind of Orwellian censorship that goes on there.
I think internet needs to be. I mean, it's a public utility. I think everybody needs to have it. We need like a wholesale thing for the entire country. Everybody needs to be online, because everybody, you know, when they talk about education, everybody wants to fucking learn is on there. You've got MIT, you've got a lot of these colleges that put the information out there. We just have to come up with better, you know, certification techniques in order for people to say, okay, well, I've learned this. Even if I didn't go 10 years to school, I can show that I have these skill set, and then be able to take, you know, certain, you know, steps, or, you know, and then what that does, because I was what was I watching? Something they were talking about the same thing with these schools. I mean, the people that make the money, they're the ones who donate to the school, and then help. And they're the ones that keep certain types of a certain type of educational process where it doesn't change. for them. They pick and choose what they want to teach people. So they keep the system going, basically. So that's another way I feel, cut out the misinformation, because that's what we have to do.
Another thing too about teaching, and I can speak to this because my mother is a teacher, is that it's a politicized job, and it really shouldn't be. If you're in the public sector, it should just be the best person available for the job. That's it. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't be about whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or whatever. Just the best person for the job, period. And another thing, police officers, again, it's politicized. It really shouldn't be. And it's controlled by, the mayors, the governors, the president, whatever. And it shouldn't be. It's meant to serve the people. So let the people be in charge of it, not the government. Right? Especially when we have a government that on a daily basis works against us and works to undermine our rights. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah?
Read.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like,
it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting so bold now. Well, it's not that they're getting bold. It's the internet's revealing a lot of the corruption. It's revealing the lies. It's revealing the platitudes, the talking points, and people are becoming. It's just a slow process, and we just have to speed that process up. Like I look at it like the right, at least the conservatives, they understand the media manipulation a lot more than the left. A lot more. So, I can go with the thing, okay, well, you may not have gotten to point B yet where it shows, okay, the reason why you have these certain fears about certain things is that same media collusion, but you at least you understand it's colluding, and that rabbit hole started. And they, with the left, well, that's the thing with the left, is that they're completely they completely like they kiss the ass of the mainstream media so much, and it's like so dear to them. I mean, obviously not really necessarily progressives as much, real progressives. I don't call TYT progressive. They're left.
MSNBC left.
Right. I mean, they're going to do wherever they're panderers. They're going to pander to whatever's popular, whatever's hip at the moment. And then,
No, it's called MSDNC.
MSDNC. See, that's what the Green Party should do. Is like if the Green Party started like going on the offense, attacking these liars, attacking people for their bullshit, all across the board. I think if they did it specifically to the progressive world, you'd pull the progressive world ASAP, and then you'd pull a lot of conservatives, because look, they're going after the progressives. They're going after get the right. All you have to do is be against Hillary Clinton, and they'll ignore everything else. It blows my mind because it's a leverage. You just got to get people on board. Once they're on board, then you say, okay, well, you believe this, you understand this. Here's how these two things relate. Like the WikiLeaks. Once they realize America is the one is providing money and cover for ISIS, then there's no reason to be upset about immigrants or Muslims or all these other things, because they're going to realize, okay, well, any cultural output is just the result of these policies that we're just now really finding out who's doing it. And that's how I'm trying to frame it right. So it's weird. Like, it's easier to frame certain things like that to the right than it is to the left. Like it blows my mind. Like you're not allowed to talk about what's wrong with inside, that identity, because you're too busy of fighting somebody else's identity. It's just like everything that they say that they don't want, they're doing within that own system. And that's why I was mad at Tim Black, because it's like I was upset at that whole thing, was because You're supposed to say, you talk about the media not asking questions and being soft on certain things, but then you do it in your own way, and then you're okay with it in your own way. Just like Nico House, like he pats himself on the back so much that you don't even get a chance to be involved in what's going on. Like the whole thing with that DNC lawsuit, he made it so much about him. Oh, and I started this stuff, and I'm the one who did this. I'm the one who was, he was just talking about Jordan Charlton, talking about, he said, I did this little thing, and the next day Jordan reported on it, like my words, and I'm like, I get it, man, I get it, but I don't know.
Hey man, none of us are paragons, man. I mean, I still watch Tim Black. I still like him. I don't necessarily admire him or put him on a pedestal or anything, but I still like him, and I still like the work that he does, particularly. And Nico too, to an extent as well. HA to an extent as well.
Well, I mean,
really,
yeah. They're on the same side, so it's not like some sort of friction for no reason. It's just I feel like it hurts the progression more than anything that the right or any other identity could do, is when you have people that do look up to you and do try to elevate you, saying, hey, we need to hear this. This is why we followed you for this specific reason, but we're getting a certain runaround. And again, like I've started watching his interviews a little more. He's been doing a lot more, it seems. So I'm easing back into it. I mean, he does do good work, and he does great follow up questions, and good framing. He frames things very well, and good analogies, and that's the kind of shit that you do want to elevate. That's why I was, I guess, so upset, because I'm telling everybody, look at Tim Black, look at Tim Black, look at Tim Black. You know what I mean? And then it's just like and then what? And then I don't know.
Yeah, man. I think we have to be careful of, like, I guess, putting these people up too much, because I mean, again, they're human beings, man. They're fallible, like any of us are. Right. They have their flaws, they have their vices, they have their weaknesses. And just even from my own experience with streaming this, and what I've seen from all the other people that go on and have their own shows, it's tough, man. It's not easy. And even if it is fully what you do, like in Black's case, or in Jimmy Dore's case, or in AJ's case, anybody that we watch, it's still very tough, and it's time consuming. And a lot of times they're doing it out of they're doing it out of their own homes.
Right.
And they have nobody. They have almost nobody, if anybody. And it's a very arduous task, and it's hard. It's hard to not only gather information, right, the useful information, the truth, but then to sort out, okay, what do I have to report today? Like, what is the pecking order of importance? Like, is net neutrality up here, and is Sheridan down here, or is Weinstein up here, and the new tax reform, the Republican tax reform bill up here? You know what I'm saying? It's a tough thing to do. It's not easy, especially when it's independent, especially when it's not a huge network, and you don't automatically have people you can fall back on, people you can say, hey, I need info on this, give me that, I need to get this person on the show on this day at this time. It's difficult, especially when you are the sole manager, the sole investigator, the sole reporter. It's tough. It is extremely, extremely tough.
No, I mean, I understand that. I mean, I understand. I guess there was a lot of people at and that's just an example for Tim. It could be anybody else too when you talk about it. But it's like when you you are supposed to listen to some feedback and be able to kind of wade through things. Um, I just feel like as if there was a different
that's what you hope. Yeah.
well, a different type of approach. I think that worry that of trying to get more followers is going to go away if the approach was changed, because that the changing of a certain type of approach is going to skyrocket. That's why I look at Tim Black, if he took a little bit of a different approach, because there was a moment in time when he was getting fired up about some stuff, and it was like it was getting other people fired up, because when he's fired up, people are fired up. You know, you got to take on the energy, you know, and I saw that, you know what I mean? I saw like the difference in when people would interact as opposed to, you know, just kind of like pass by and do it, you know. And that was my whole thing. Like I felt like if he would have said something at that time, and I go back, I know I talked about a lot, Nina Turner and stuff like that. I felt like that could have opened up Pandora's box a little earlier, because he would have forced her to say something about it, and she shouldn't get a pass whether or not to say something about something that it's that important, our democracy in general, you know. And that it was just because I was arguing on a couple different platforms too and stuff like that. It was challenging, you know, going back and forth. I don't know. I want to see that offense attack. I want to see it so bad. Like, and that's what when my shit's set up to where I can do this right, because I'm designing this shit right, and some content, and I'm gonna bust out a bunch of content, but I'm gonna go so hard at some of these people. I expect to really ruffle some feathers. That's how I want to do it, because if they're not scared, you know what I mean, you're not doing your job. You want to scare the establishment to where, you know, they try to attack you. If they're trying to attack you, that means they're listening. And then
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, man, I feel you, brother. Yeah. I'm
pumped up about it, and I want to see some people, like, because once one person goes to jail for corruption, it's the domino effect, because then it's not this person. Just like the sexual harassment thing, all of a sudden everybody's sexual harassment, and that's the game. All that shit is not for us. All that shit is for the political games. They're trying to do that to take attention off Harvey. They're trying to do whatever they can to use that as a distraction, even though it's an important subject, important issue. They use that again to misdirect what should be talking about, and that's why I can't wait till. That's why I like Jimmy so much. Like, regardless, even if he has some wrong information, I feel like he's one to want to correct things. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain approach. Like, I feel like he says enough truth that even if he fucks up, like, and does something and missteps, that it's going to be covered somewhere else. You know what I mean? He's still forward.
Well, the only thing Jimmy Dore didn't correct himself on about Rod Willer, he still thinks Rod Willer is fake.
Oh, the guy about Seth Rich thing?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, he still thinks that.
I don't think he actually thinks that. I think he just hasn't come out and publicly said that yet. Like, I think, you know, because like in his live show in Oregon, he talks about, you know, how Seth Rich, like, how he didn't post about Seth Rich because of the negative feedback he was getting from everybody, and like how much people were coming after him for that. Like, there were certain topics that he felt like he couldn't touch because people like were getting too upset and too angry over it. And then he was, you know, like, the whole point of his show then was to say that he was right, and so he's not going to let people scare him anymore, you know, and he's going to start covering stuff like that again. And he was saying that, you know, like, that's one of the reasons he didn't really talk about Seth Rich much, since, you know, those few videos he put out, is because he was getting such a horrible reception. And he was talking about, you know, how one of the things that went up for him was that everyone was super pissed off at Sean Hannity for covering that, right?
Mhm.
And he was like, well, why is that? He's like, Sean Hannity is right or is wrong all the fucking time. So why are they pissed off if he's wrong about this? Right? Like if he's wrong about this, think. You know, like why throw this big fit and try to get him fired if this is just another thing that he's making a nothing burger over? You know, if he's just another thing he's wrong about, why do that unless he's onto something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, what if that's one of those 2 times a day where the broken clock is right? You know.
Good analogy, man. And on that analogy, guys, I think we gotta sign off, man. I gotta head to bed soon. All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming in and sharing your thoughts and opinions, man. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Good chat, man. Good chat. Appreciate you.
Good chat, guys. All right. I'll catch you guys later.
All right, good night.
Good night.